Hello everyone, my name is Laura, this is my channel Laura's Little Library, and welcome to today's video, which are some spring book recommendations. So, in today's video, I have it split up into two different categories within the spring recommendations. One is going to be books to read on that rainy spring day, April showers bring May flowers. So for books for the rainy day to cuddle inside on and read. And the flower books, the books that you walk through a garden or that you're outside in nature and it's sunny and warm and wonderful, those books. So, April showers bring May flowers. April is first, so let's start with the rainy day books. The first one is a cozy mystery, and I've talked about it a time or two on this channel, and that is Death by the Jeerling, and this is by Laura Childs. This is a whole long series of cozy mystery in this beautiful East Coast kind of southern town, and you have this woman who owns a tea shop, and it's her who owns the tea shop and does the baking for it, and there's a gentleman there who works, and he is perfect at steeping tea. He knows what tea to go with what kind of day, how long to steep it, how hot the water should be, everything. And they also have one other person helping out in the tea house as much as needed, and it is such a cozy small town. But there is a murder during the Lamplight Festival, so our main character sells the victim some tea and then he ends up dead, so she needs to clear her name and her tea shop in order to save the festival and save her tea shop. Like I said, it's a whole series, but this is the first one. I read it and I loved it. It is such a cozy mystery in a tea shop, so it's very much a rainy day kind of mystery to snuggle up on, but it's very spring with all the tea and the flowers. My next recommendation for a rainy day is Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin, or really any Rachel Griffin book. I have all of her books so far, and I would honestly recommend all of them to be read in spring, and especially to be read on a rainy day. I cannot wait. I know she has another one coming, and I just cannot wait for that one to come out. But Bring Me Your Midnight. This book follows our main character, who is a witch, and she is supposed to grow up and marry the son of the governor of the humans. So the witches live on the island and the humans live on the mainland, and she knows that she's supposed to do this. However, they have a ritual where they expel all of their excess magic into the ocean on the full moon so that they don't combust or use too much magic. It's like a cleansing ritual almost, and our main character misses that ritual, which has never been done before. It's known to be deadly, and after missing that, she meets this guy called Wolf, who says he's from a different coven where they practice dark magic and they don't do the ritual, and so she now needs to choose between her people and her loyalty to her coven and marry the governor's son, or if she wants to find out what is really behind the ritual and the different kinds of magic. It is a very seaside, it's on an island, so lots of water, which makes it perfect for a rainy day. And I mean, come on, look at that gorgeous cover. But like I said, I would recommend all Rachel Griffin books for the rainy spring day. Those other Rachel Griffin books being The Nature of Witches, which was her first one, and Wild is the Witch. I love both of these as well. This is like a year-long one, so it's kind of all season. This would be another one I would highly recommend to read on a sunny or a rainy spring day, because you are in the Pacific Northwest and you are hiking to find an owl that has a curse, and it is enemies to lovers, and oh, it's just so wonderful. I love the romance in her books. I love the representation in her books. They are all just so wonderful and cozy, and because they're Pacific Northwest, they're very natural, but with a cloudy day, kind of rainy vibe, so for sure check these out. Next, I would also recommend reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace on a rainy spring day, because this is a darker fantasy romance with floral themes, because our main character cannot die, but everyone around her keeps dying, and so she finds out that if she eats belladonna berries, she'll get close to death, and she meets death and talks to death, but doesn't ever actually die. It is romantic. It has like the belladonna, you know, it's that darker side of growth and flowers, you know, kind of like that poisonous vibe. And I feel like those are really good for rainy spring days when you want to be like out in nature, but it's not happy, sunny, it's like darker and mysterious. So this is the first book in the trilogy, and I loved the entire trilogy, and all the books are just as floral, as beautiful as this one. So definitely pick this up if you haven't already. And then the final book for the rainy day category that I just want to throw in there is the Emily Wilde books. So this is the most recent one, Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. There are 3 of them out now, and the first one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. If you have not picked up the series, I encourage you to do so. They are the perfect ones to read in the winter to spring transition. Like the first one is much more wintry. This one takes place and it ends in early March. So it really is February to March. It is getting into spring and things are growing and snow is melting, things like that. So if you are reading the series and this one you know has come out but you haven't picked it up yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Now let's move on to the flowers, the sunny, warm spring day where you are just excited to be outside in nature enjoying the weather as we have longer days here in the northern hemisphere with more sun and things start to grow. So this is going to be more fairy tale, floral, a different kind of whimsical and cozy. So the first book I recommend is actually This Poison Heart, and this is by Kaylin Bayron. And while it does seem like it should be in the rainy day category if it's a poison heart, this is a Secret Garden retelling about a girl who finds out that she has inherited her great aunt's or her aunt's estate. It's this big thing, it's got huge gardens, everything is dying, and she has got quite the talent with plants, flowers, and nature, we'll say. And so she decides that she does want to take over this aunt's estate and figure out what exactly was going on here. Why is there this mysterious garden of poisonous, deadly plants? So I loved this one. There's a second book. It is a duology, but they're both out, so you don't have to worry about that. But this would be a good one for that warm, sunny adventure in a poisonous garden. I would also recommend that you read The Honey Witch, and this is by Sydney J. Shields. If you haven't picked this one up, it is so beautiful and so aesthetic. You have this girl who is like a wild child. She does not want to conform to society, and her mom is very frustrated with her because of it. But her grandmother says, it is time for you to come to my island and learn how to be a honey witch, because they are honey witches, of course. So that's where they have bees and they take care of bees, and that is kind of the source of their honey. They make different flavored honey, and they do many other things, and they take care of the plants and the environment on the island. And so our main character becomes the Honey Witch, and she actually has some visitors, some friends, and one of them does not believe in magic. Like, magic is not real. And so she goes on a cozy at-home quest to prove to her that magic is real. And there are some dark forces starting to stir on this island as well. So lots going on, everything rooted in this beautiful garden and with bees, save the bees. And I just highly recommend picking up this book. I loved it so much. Our main character's name is Marigold. Like, it's as naturey and witchy as you can get, so it was perfect. This next one has been talked about a lot in the bookish communities, but seriously, if you have not picked it up, I am begging you to please pick up this book, and spring is the perfect time to do it because it is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. The Spell Shop follows a librarian and her sidekick, Kaz the plant. However, unfortunately, the library does burn down, and the librarian decides to kind of break the law and take some of these magical books with her in order to save them, because she wants to save the books. So she takes some crates of these magical forbidden books and she flees to the island where she was born and grew up with when she was young, before her parents moved to the big city on the mainland. So she goes to this island and she goes to her parents' house. It's overgrown. No one's lived there in years. It's really dirty. And so she, with Kaz the spider plant and these secret magical books, decide to clean out the house, get the garden under control, and start a jam shop. That might also be a magical jam shop. So it is so precious. It is such a cozy, fantasy and you've got sea creatures and you've got a love interest, but it's cozy and it's slow burn. And the second book for this is either out or going to be out soon. I cannot wait to pick it up. But if you have not read this yet, spring is a good time to do so, because this is when I start thinking about all the jams, jellies, preserves, and things that I want to make when the weather gets warmer and things start to grow. So this is in preparation for that. I highly recommend it. I cannot say that enough, that you need to read this book, please. So I think the right time to read it is in spring. Lastly, the final book that I have to recommend in either day, but it's in the flower day because of the fairy tale and just late spring, and the romance especially. The romance of some of these are also what gives it that floral day instead of the rainy day. But anyway, so the last recommendation I have is A Fragile Enchantment, and this is by Alison Saft, and I absolutely love this book so much. This takes place in a Regency England inspired thing, and our main character is Irish, and she has a little bit of magic in her blood that allows her to make beautiful clothes. Like, she is a seamstress, she is a designer, that is what she's good at. And so she goes to Avalon, aka like England-esque, and she is trying to make this wardrobe for this noble, high up in the courts kind of guy. And so she's making his wardrobe, she's doing her job, but they start to get kind of close to each other and they hang out more, and the tensions between the two of them, for coming from like England and Ireland way back in like Regency time period, kind of starts to fade as romance starts to simmer. But then there's a whole conflict of, she's approached and asked to use her position with her favor with this noble to help figure out state secrets in order to allow for Kit's people, the Irish of the people, to claim independence and not be looked upon as lesser from the English. But she doesn't want to jeopardize her relationship, but she wants to be loyal to her people and help them as best she can. So it is a sweeping fairy tale romance, but with some political intrigue in there as well, and it is just gorgeous. And with the description of clothes and the light colors and things like that, it is definitely a spring book, and it is such a beautiful book and a beautiful romance that I highly recommend you to pick this up this spring if you haven't read it already. I just had all the warm fuzzy feels when I read this, and this is one of those books where if I could read it again for the first time, I would do it, and I would read it over and over and over again for the first time. And I still want to read it over and over again now, but yeah, please pick this one up. Please pick it up. Anyway, those are all the books that I recommend that you pick up this spring for the both rainy days and the flowering days. Thank you all very much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave any recommendations you have in the comments below, either for me or for anyone else that you think it's a perfect spring book to pick up this year. If you like bookish content like this, I have social media in the description below, like my Bookstagram and Goodreads and things like that. Also, feel free to hit the subscribe button, as I am posting videos every week, and I am so excited and happy that we are finally into spring. Thank you all again for watching, and until we see you in the next video, I wish you happy reading!